Well, welcome to Chapter 2, Oriented Towards Others. This is a critical step in this whole process of discipling, but it's important for us to know this doesn't really come naturally for most of us. Some people are a little bit more geared towards other people. You look out for the needs of others. You want to make sure that their day is a little happier or something along those lines. But for most of us, we give into an autopilot kind of mode where we look out for our own needs. Maybe we don't walk around and kind of throw our weight around or outwardly demonstrate a selfish attitude, but we sometimes don't register the fact that we're here for other people. And I like the way that they used a definition in the book for us about discipling is laboring for the sake of others. And he relates that word laboring to Colossians 1:29 that uses the word struggling and even goes a little deeper in the original language, the word agony. Now we're starting to get to the crux of this whole thing about discipling, why it's difficult for us to engage in this practice. So he uses a helpful analogy of family, because we feel a need or a special desire to live for those who belong to us. We have a more natural affection and motivation, if you will, to live for our kids, especially when they're younger and weaker and more helpless and they're a little cuter at that stage and those kinds of things, or our spouse that we know we've given our life to, or our parents maybe as they get older, or any of those kinds of situations that we would naturally move towards an ability and a desire to want to help them. And this is the reason why we need to see church as a family and not just as a collection of friends, because often what we do with picking our friends is we pick the people that orient themselves towards us. We like the same things, we agree on the same subject matter or that sort of thing, and it's more difficult for us to see these kinds of connections as people that we're bound to, like our family, that we couldn't change whether we wanted to or not. So this is why I think it's important for us to get a little deeper in this aspect of things and actually practice orientation towards others. It's not an automatic thing. So I'm going to encourage you to start taking steps even at church towards an others-oriented mindset. When you come to church, the American way is to come and see what's in it for me. I need a shot in the arm, or I need a dose or a boost, if you will, of something from the Spirit of God for me. What if we came in from the moment we enter the parking lot, through the doors of the church and in the doors into the auditorium? What does somebody else need from me? Why would they be here this morning, and what can I do to perhaps be God's representative in their life today? That's a way of taking a step in that direction. We can also practice this in public, and you've probably heard me say over and over again, one of the most simple things you can do is to pay for somebody's lunch or order something in the drive-up line behind you. And just practicing an other's mindset, even if they don't know who you are or can't thank you for it, because it combats this autopilot mindset that we so often have. And then also, I think the challenge for us, as we saw in this chapter, is to keep future goals. The here and now really kills our momentum and our progress in discipling, because we are always driven by the tyranny of the urgent, that we don't often disassociate ourselves from the need of the moment to think about what could happen down the road. So let's start asking some questions. How do I want to stand before God when it's my time? What's the presentation that I want to make to Him with all the resources and the opportunity that He's given me? I also want to start asking the question, who do I want standing next to me? And that should lead me to a further others-oriented question of, how do they want to be standing before God, and how can I help them get there? You see, this is now starting to demonstrate a heart of discipleship that can permeate the culture of a church, but more than that, it can even allow you to lay your head down on your pillow at night knowing that you gave everything you had for the mission that God gave you, which is living for other people. I like how the author says that discipling others is how I try to leave time bombs of grace. I think that's a very colorful analogy, that as we continue to invest our lives in other people, that over time and in the future, that our impact or our legacy will still take effect on them because they will be carrying out the things that you and I taught them to do, even after we're long gone. So, how will you strategically move to becoming willing to struggle or even agonize for the good of other people? We have to make a plan in our mind. How do we even get there that I can even acknowledge or notice what the other people in my life need? What kind of legacy do I want to leave for future generations? Do I want them to remember me that I engaged in acts of selfish spiritual investment, or I gave into the autopilot mindset and I just missed opportunities and I could have done more with what I had? As we go into chapter 3, we're going to take a closer look at this theme of work and get some practical pointers on where to begin. So we'll see you there.